Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I think it's Wednesday, and I think I'm Mike Norfield from Visiting Angels.
Well, I'm glad that you think that.
Having a day off just throws me all out of whack.
My gosh, tell me about it. I was thinking Monday, yesterday was Monday, almost all day, and I was kind of wishing it was because...
Empowers tomorrow, not in 2 days.
Correct. But I would like to know, so Mike, I'm putting you on this for next year. Okay? Because I would like to know what I was thinking in doing 2 coffee talks, a major women's conference, a board meeting, all in the same week as we have a day off. I am really dumb sometimes. I'm just going to put that out there.
You're making it really difficult for me to remain as a host on this show because there's so many things I want to say that would probably get me kicked off. So
go ahead. We've known each other long enough. I won't hold it against you.
You have a don't give up attitude that sometimes gets you in trouble. That's the nicest way I can say that.
That's a good way to put it.
That was good. I'll be running for office next year, so I'm practicing.
Yeah, okay. Well, so when I got home last night, my right eye was twitching, and I mean consistently. It just kept twitching, and I was like, I couldn't make it stop.
That means you're doing all the right things.
Or all the wrong ones, because I got we've got a lot of things going on. Welcome everyone. We'll have a great show for you today. We've got 2 guests on with us, and last week we were really heavy on talking about events and marketing and a lot of that.
I don't remember that.
That's because you weren't here.
Oh, that's right.
It's the best episode of the entire year.
Oh my gosh, Woody.
Anyway,
security.
So it was just me, and everyone loved it. I got lots of great reviews and 5 stars. But this week we're going to be chatting more about service and things you can do for your home, things you can do in your community, businesses that we have that kind of can help you with all of those things. And with the spring and I'm guessing it's kind of spring. I feel like spring never showed up. It just kind of went straight into 80 degree weather and everybody's, hot and ready to get in the pool. But right now I think a lot of people are thinking about that. You think spring, you think home improvements, you think, you're turning on your AC. We're going to be chatting a little bit about that, but you're also doing things to your yard. You're making improvements in your home. You're, out there. If you're a farmer, you're working in the field. You're doing all the things. And so we're going to be chatting too with Boone Tractor, and we've got a really good lineup today. So
yeah, I'm excited. I love a tractor.
I was getting ready to say something.
Love a tractor.
What is it? The Think My Tractor Sexy.
Think My Tractor
Sexy. I know what you were going to say is your tractor sexy, Mike. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that, but I am going to just kick us off a little bit talking about our Empower conferences tomorrow. And while I'm talking about it, you can't get tickets. So I'm sorry about that if you're listening.
So if you don't have your ticket already,
sold out, but
you can put your name on a list for next year.
And you should. So we have 175 women attending this conference tomorrow.
It's almost a full house.
Thrilled. Yeah.
Like almost packing it out where there's no room left.
It really is.
Yeah.
About, I would say 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had like 60. I was getting nervous. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, are we going to sell? But then it was like, bam.
These days, a lot of people, their schedules are so packed. Like everyone's schedule is so managed down to the minute that people don't want to commit to something weeks in advance. Mm-hmm. So I get that. Like, and I'm the same way. Like, I get it. But also, like, as the event planner, I'm sure it makes it a little nerve wracking.
It does. It does. And so, but we have some great speakers. Our keynote speaker, who, if you tuned into last week's episode, y'all got to hear me speak with Dreama Denver.
Yeah.
She is the wife of Gilligan's Island, Bob Denver. And she is our keynote speaker. And she is currently on her way driving in to Lynchburg.
Awesome.
And she's super excited about it. And we're going out to dinner tonight. And
that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to hang out with her and learn more about her and then let her speak to everyone. So, big shout out to... I want to give a shout out to our breakfast caterers, Sweet Indulgence Bakery. She's going to have all the pastries there.
They're amazing.
They are amazing. And now we have Nautical Bowls joining us. They're going to be doing the
that'll be fun.
Was it acai? How do you pronounce it?
Acai bowls.
Acai bowls?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Acai bowl? I don't know. Healthy food options
and
for
their
people.
Stuff is really good too.
So they are really good. So we'll have those there. And then I want to give humongous shout out to the Blue Lady here in Bedford. So if you've not stopped in at the Blue Lady in Bedford Cafe right here in downtown Bedford, he is catering our lunch. And
they have the best BLTs. I don't know what it is, whether it's the bread, the produce is just really fresh, what it is, but they're just amazing.
Next time, try their bruschetta sandwich. I just tried it for the first time last week. It's amazing.
What's on that?
Spinach and tomato, and it's like a grilled cheese, but it's veggie and it's delicious. And we're having it at Empower. So
awesome.
Anyway, but he came in clutch for me with the catering.
Yeah, he did.
This time we had another caterer. Things didn't work out in the last minutes, and so we had to make a humongous switch with less than a week to go. And he's pulling off 175 lunches for me.
And they've been
great
awesome at a lot. They also catered our awards dinner that we had that was sponsored by Visiting Angels, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was talking about how good the food was, which is a fantastic thing to hear. And if you haven't been to the Blue Lady, they're in Bedford near the courthouse, right there. Like it's worth the trip if you're not from Bedford.
Oh, it really is. It's worth the trip to go in just see how he's decorated for the season. Like he decorates
like
really
crazy. Cool. Yeah, it's good.
So, so big thank you to them, and big thank you to Western Ways, who's our presenting sponsor of the event. Specialty Exterminating, who is our keynote sponsor, the reason that Dreama is here with us, and to Nadine Blakely with Remax, who is our Empower Leadership Award sponsor.
Yeah.
And then also a big shout out to the two men I have here in the room, because Freedom Heating and Air and Boone Tractor both are our premier sponsors of the CVABC, which means that everything that I do, every event, everything I do, and even if I mess up, guys, sorry, no. But I mean, everything I do, my premier sponsors are the reason I'm able to do it, because they are our top tier sponsor, and we get to do the things because businesses like theirs support us. So thank you guys very much. Now we're going to roll into talking with these guys, because nobody wants to keep hearing me talk about an event you can't come to. So there you go. Oh, wait, I will mention for anyone listening that's a small business owner in our area that wants to attend Coffee Talk. It is this Friday at AccuPoint Serving right down the street here in Bedford on Main Street from 8 to 10. So come out, network, meet and greet some amazing people, and grab some snacks, which will also be provided by the Blue Lady. So there you have it.
Awesome. All
right. So now I'm going to turn it over here to Brendan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Heather. How are you?
I'm great. So Freedom Heating and Air, and now Electrical.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. New title. Are you getting new shirts made soon?
We are. We actually have a lot of new shirts already.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome.
I would like one medium. Thank you very much. I love swag. And but it's a cool way to like promote too when you're out and about. You promote your members, you got their shirts on, you talk about it. But so I'm sure you guys are really busy right now. But I guess to start off, I mean, although I said heating, air, and electrical, so most of you guys can pretty much assume they do heating, air, and electrical. What? But tell us a little bit more about Freedom, and like, how did you get started, and what is Freedom all about? Because I know it's kind of I feel like Freedom is a little bit different than some of the other heating and air companies, and in the background and why you do what you do and all those things. So
growing up, I grew up with my stepfather, who's in Vermont, and he has his own HVAC company up there. And through the years of doing that, then the military for 9.5 years of my life. When I moved back to Lynchburg, I worked at Woolgers for a little bit, and I was like, I need to do my own thing, because I'm one of those people. I have to be on my own. I can't be told what to do anymore. I did it for 9.5 years, so that was enough.
Right.
So when I started the company, I wanted to make it a point that Freedom was about truly caring about the community and looking out for those who are truly public servants, like first responders, teachers, nurses, police officers, veterans. So with that, we start by offering all our memberships half off to them. Wow. And actually, we're in the process right now of trying to get something with Valor Farm to where a percentage of our profits every month will go to them as a donation.
That's cool. I love that.
So I'm trying to get that all squared away now. That's a little bit of a headache. I might need your help a little bit with that, Heather, because you're smarter than me with that.
Okay, I got you. We'll see what we can do.
But overall, it's a veteran-owned business, of course. But the big thing is honesty and transparency with us, and making sure that everyone, whether you like what our transparency provides you, but we want to make sure that you're aware of anything that's there and give you every option that you can have to fix it, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that every home we walk into, you feel like you're family with us, not just another technician walking in your house.
That's awesome. Now, how long has Freedom been around.
Great news. Today's 2 years.
Really?
Wow,
Today?
congratulations.
See, I brought donuts just for the occasion.
That's right.
Just kidding. So somebody else brought donuts, but I'm sure enough eating them. So that's amazing.
Today's 2 years. And we're actually started as a celebration for it, we're starting our $49 tune-up special. We're just calling it the Freedom Special.
Okay.
And that's going until the end of June.
Okay. Right.
Yep.
So what does that kind of involve?
Just a quick, one-time check and cleaning your outdoor coil on your system. Kind of get our eyes on everything for you and kind of give you a general idea of what direction you should move in with how your system's looking at that time, whether that's recommending doing a maintenance plan or, hey, we noticed that maybe you've got some things that could be breaking down soon, at least make you aware of what's happening because they're complex systems and not a lot of people know about them.
So let me put you on the spot for a second. I know we told you at the beginning we wouldn't do that, but I'm going to.
That's fine.
So let's say that you have an air conditioning system, HVAC system, and you don't maintain it. How long should that unit last? What's the expected
average life of a system is between 10 to 15.
All right. Now, how much longer would it potentially last compared to having maintenance done to not having maintenance done, like regular maintenance?
So I'll answer this the same way I do to every customer when I walk in their home.
Okay.
I treat it like the human body.
Okay.
I was a medic in the military, so it makes it easy.
Okay.
If I tell you, if somebody's a smoker, their lungs are destroyed, right?
Right.
And it's hard to get it back, so they have to quit to try to get their lungs back to restore to where they need to be. Versus someone that's not a smoker, they can breathe longer, they live longer, right? Dirty coils, dirty lungs. Clean coils, clean lungs.
Okay. So it will make it run more efficiently and better, and making sure you're changing the filters, make sure you're using the right kind of filter because you don't want to use the little dollar filter that you can get at Dollar General. Nothing against Dollar General, but you got those little cheap filters. So we our HVAC system at our office, I have it set up where it reminds me every month, like, hey, it's time to change the filters, and the filters are expensive. But then I started thinking, we rent that office space, so we're not really responsible for that or outdoor unit. But also that electric bill we have to pay every month, and so keeping the filters clean and things like that makes
it does help.
It it may not make a huge difference where I could be like, oh yeah, look at our electric bill. I changed the filters, we saved $200. Nothing like that. But it definitely over time it's going to make it more efficient.
Yes, because if you're not changing your filters often enough, a lot of that dirt gets through there and into your unit. Right. And again, there's an indoor coil, so that's the same thing. That could be your left lung. Yeah. That lung's getting dirty, so now you're really relying on one. That one works harder now to help you breathe. Especially if you have pets, because so this is great because I changed our filter at home yesterday. And I was amazed at the amount we have 2 cats and 2 dogs, and I was amazed at the amount of pet hair that was in the filter. And I was like, I do it every 30 days. Like, it's on my calendar, it's done. And I could not believe how clogged it was in just that 30 days. So I might have to start checking it, every 2 weeks and just see what it goes to. So I'll just use those dollar filters and change it every day, right? Break even. No. Oh yeah. Part of my morning routine: wake up, brush my teeth, change the air filter, go to work. Yeah. So you said that the $50 is a one-time come out and check. Yep. Okay. And do you have like a yearly maintenance plan? Or? We do. We offer 2 different ones. We offer the Hero membership, which is again for those that are first responders, teachers, nurses, veterans, police officers. And that's typically $100 a year for the first system, and then an additional $100 for the second system. Okay. Or you can pay monthly. Okay. And then the other one is $200 a year, and then $100 for each additional system after that for just any other customers. It gives 10% off any repairs, 5% off replacements, 1 free electrical inspection on your home each year that you're on it too, and then you're a member, so you got priority service. So I gotcha. I like that you do the electrical check as part of it as well, because a lot of times we forget that our electric system needs maintenance and things like that. We had a guest on a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about that. It was like, what do you mean it needs maintenance? Like it's there. The wires don't change, but wires get loose and they can wires get loose, things go bad, breakers go bad. Yep. My son's an electrician now. And like he tells me, like, yeah, we had a breaker the other day. And it was just leaking everywhere. And it's like, leaking what? I learned a little bit more about breakers that day. But yeah, it's good to have the maintenance plan. And I like that you did for the first responders, things like that, especially because we employ a lot of nurses. So that's a good thing. Well, I think it's also important to have the maintenance piece of it too, because then somebody's coming in and checking it, and you're not just like, you haven't used your HVAC system all winter, or, you're changing it over to AC, and then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? There's no AC, and then they're backed up. You guys are trying to deal with it, so you don't know how long
stuff isn't working until you turn it on and it's not working. You know what I mean? And so it's good to have somebody coming in and checking it out instead of just, flipping the switch and realizing that you're going to be hot for a little bit.
And also
it ain't working.
It can still be blowing cold air, but not blowing like it could. And that can make a huge difference. You don't really notice if your air system is working at 90% instead of 100%. You don't really notice that.
We actually had that issue 3 or 4 years ago, I think. And we had to get a whole new unit. And unfortunately for us, before we did that, we tried just getting like more Freon. We were losing Freon, I guess, really. But we had that. It's a really hard to get Freon. It's really freaking expensive. Yeah, because I have an old, like our house is like a double wide.
Right? 410.
410.
Yeah.
That's what I said. 410.
Yeah, because our house is like a double wide, but we could only, it's in this little small, anyway. And that stuff was expensive. And like we came and got new one put in and it was gone the next day. And I was like, I ain't buying no more of that, you know? So we ended up getting a new system. I know we got a new system, but I think it's different. I don't deal with that stuff. I'll leave that up to other people, but I'm the person that flips the switch. When it doesn't work, it's an issue. But I know, isn't there also like, is that the one that you can no longer get, or they're trying to get rid of
R22 is the one that's
R22.
Yeah. 410s starting next year is going to be starting to be pushed out too. We're switching refrigerants next year. So waiting to see how that all looks.
So is that like a new technology or a safer gas or something like that?
Safer gas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I used to work in electronic manufacturing, and we have the whole RoHS thing, the reduction of hazardous substances that reduce like the cadmium and all these other things that I can't pronounce. The stuff was horrible to work with. It made our job so much harder than it had to be. And it was like, but.
Yeah, they're doing it for global warming potential is how they kind of gauge what gases we're going to use. And they're trying to get that number a lot lower because of Freon leaking out.
Right, because it happens. Like, it only takes one little rock thrown by the lawnmower, and there you go.
Now, do y'all do? I haven't heard as much about them recently as I had a couple of years ago. But do y'all still do those like blue light filters or something you put in the systems? And it's probably not a blue. I don't know what it's called.
UV light.
No, it's like a Hemi.
It's a UV
whatever. I said a Hemi.
There's HEPA filters, but
HEPA. That's the word I was looking for.
Those are HEPA filters, but truthfully, filters being sold as allergy filters are a scam because. You open a door and it doesn't catch it till it gets there.
Right.
It's protecting your system. If you stayed in your house with your doors closed for 3 days, then yes, your air is going to clean up eventually.
Oh, that'd be a dream.
Yep.
Okay.
So, like, you put UV lights inside your system, that will help kill bacterial growth that can happen inside of it. Another thing that kind of mentioned, Mike, when you said that your filter gets really dirty with a bunch of animal hair.
Right.
The Remy Halo air purifier that I told you guys
That's
about.
what I was talking about. The Remy, not the Hemi. See, I knew it was similar. It's the Remy.
It goes into your supply duct and it actually creates an electrical bond in the air to allow more pet dander, dirt, dust to bond, and actually makes it heavier. So your filter catches more of it, so less gets back to your system.
Okay.
It will kill any pollens, allergens, viruses, all surface and airborne.
Right. That's the thing. I had mentioned to my husband about wanting to get one. So he has seriously like got some allergies. Like, when he's at home, he's consistently coughing and sneezing and using his inhaler. And so I know there's like something hanging out, but I keep telling him we need to get one of those to kind of help clear.
It would be very beneficial.
Some of that air for him. So I'm gonna have to chit chat with you about it. Yeah. So moving on from the heating and air, you guys now have started with electrical.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, John is another electrician. He's a veteran as well. He used to own Veterans Electric in town, and we were referring him for some time. And we sat down and talked one day, and kind of came to an agreement that he would come over and help run our electrical division. And because he also liked the idea that we're both veterans now, and we now have a second veteran in the business. I'd like to find some more veterans to come work for me. So if there's anyone out there that a veteran's got some trade skills, would love to bring them on.
Okay.
But right now we're doing a lot of new construction right now. We're getting into generators. We're going to be doing, of course, panel swap outs and stuff like that, any electrical upgrades, but service work. So call if something happens as far as breakers tripping or a circuit being lost or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, and right now when storms are coming through, I saw where there's a lot of power outages this past weekend. People don't, again, having a generator would be awesome to have, especially if you lose power a lot.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you lose power like every week, dude.
Yeah,
I ain't never seen somebody lose so much power.
Let me tell you, the power went out a couple of days ago because of that storm.
And his power's
we actually did not lose power. I was amazed.
Wow.
I was amazed.
Wow.
So,
yeah. But it's people like, I've said it before, my parents, like my father he's on oxygen permanently, and so it's kind of that instance where I worry about the power going out for any long period of time,
right.
Especially since he was just in the hospital 2 or 3, we weren't even sure if he was going to make it 2 or 3 months ago. And so I'm always consistently worried about whether or not, the power is going to go out and he's not going to be able to breathe because his concentrator can't work. And this man never has enough tanks ever. He never gets enough tanks. We yell at him about it all the time. But, he's also not really able to go up and crank up a generator that's out there. You got to do the old,
right.
What is it? Push or pull or whatever you do with generators.
They do have push
Again, I don't
now.
do that.
Yes, they do.
But it does. It's something that worries me. It would be like a comfort in my mind to know that my elderly parents, my mom has multiple sclerosis too, so she ain't going out there doing it. So it's kind of a something that I feel is needed, especially if you A, lose a lot of power, B, have somebody that has a health issue or may need it. And then also there's just the comfort aspect. I saw a lot of people complaining like, oh, I had to throw my food away and I had to do this and I had to do that. And, I was sitting here going, oh no, I can't watch my TV show. It's sad.
Right.
So anyway, but it's just, it's a good idea to look into one because I feel like they may be a little bit upfront, but in the longevity of it, it pays itself back. When you're using it.
Nothing makes me madder than when the power goes out and I look over next door and they have a whole house generator and they have a lot of landscaping lights and things in their backyard. And like, it's completely dark and I look out there and their whole backyard's lit up. I'm like, you're wasting all that out there. Like we should run a line to my house or something, but
bring it on over.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. One thing for those listening, cause I always say referrals and things are really big for businesses and, one of the things that I love about Brennan, I'm just going to put this out there, is that he works well with it. We talk about co-opetition a lot on this show. And there's competition. There's multiple HVAC companies in the area and everyone, is always, wanting a piece of the pie per se. But you're very big on that there's enough for everybody. And I know in talking with you that, I had an issue months ago. We came home from somewhere and my well thing, what happened to it, Brendan? My well pump was not working. Okay. And so not that I want anyone to be calling in for plumbing, but you do a little of the little bit. Don't call in for plumbing. We're heating, air, and electrical here, friends. But I'm just saying, but I wasn't sure what it was. And so I called him or messaged him and it was late. It was later at night. And I was just like, hey, can you help me? I need this or, and he was like, well, I am super busy right now. Try this person, this person, this person. He didn't say, hey, wait a couple days because I want to make sure I get the business and you can just suffer and, not have your water. But that's just the type of person that Brennan is. And that's how I know how he runs his company. And I just want to throw that out there because I think that says a lot about,
yes,
about Brennan.
Yes.
So.
That was the other thing too, is that was what I told you at the beginning when I first met you is there's enough for everybody. And at the end of the day, the goal is that the customers need to get taken care of. It doesn't matter who you go with or anything like that. I've always been like the transparency thing I've mentioned is I've always told customers if you get other quotes, I'd be happy to sit and talk with you. And I've told people to go with other companies because it fits what they want. It does not bother me. You just need to get somebody seeing heat.
Yeah. And the best thing too is he actually stayed in contact with me like almost every day after, like, is it fixed? Have you gotten it? Like, I can try and squeeze you in if you need me to. And we had contacted somebody else and then that person didn't show up. My husband was furious. And then we ended up being able to get somebody else in. But I mean, it was just nice to have somebody that, was just like, hey, I can't get to it right now, but I can probably be there tomorrow. But here's who you can call if you need it like right now. And it was just really good to have that and then have him checking up on me. So like you're in good hands. Let me just say when we're working with Freedom, I'm just throw that out there.
Appreciate it.
So yeah. So you guys too. Now, correct. I hope this isn't a spoiler alert. Did y'all move? Are you moving to a new location?
Oh, we did move.
Can I talk about that?
Yeah, back in
And if I can't, then scratch that from the live show.
Yes, back in January we moved.
Okay, so you're not on Timberlake anymore.
No,
every time I drive by, I look for you, and I'm like, God, they're never there because their cars are never there. But that's why.
Yes, we're over across the street from Lynchburg Nissan now.
Okay.
Out behind CarSmart.
All right. What's the best way for someone to get a hold of you if they are, interested in the special or just need some service or?
Call our office at 434-339-0001.
Okay.
Working on a way to make it 434 Freedom.
Oh, okay.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Working on a way to make it that way. Mm-hmm. I've been working on that since yesterday.
Awesome. Well, and I know too, Freedom does do a lot. They give back. They sponsor different things. Like I said, they're a sponsor of us, but you've done things with Liberty and, I think the Hellcats. Hellcats.
And then we try to do stuff with a lot of the local schools too.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I get people reaching out to me, because I don't know any contacts.
Yeah. Oh, I can give you some contacts there, friend. Okay, cool. Well, definitely. If you're in need for heating and air or just some maintenance
or
electrical, definitely check out Freedom Heating and Air. They do a great job.
They do. So we ask 2 questions to every podcast guest that comes on. First one is, how long have you been part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
I've been a part of it for 1 year, but almost 2, because Heather and I have talked about it for the first year.
Okay.
So for 1 year.
Then I wore him down.
You're like, please stop calling me. I'll sign. How much does it cost to silence you?
Premier.
Yeah, Premier sponsorship.
Yeah, Premier sponsorship, then I'll shut up.
So yeah, it's been about a year.
Okay. And what do you think is the greatest benefit? Careful with your answer, please. What do you think is the greatest benefit of being part of the CVABC?
You said it.
I think being able to meet all of the other business owners around, honestly, and having the relationships, because I like networking a lot and I like to meet other business owners, because like she said, I like to be able to refer as many people as I can.
Right.
Because that's the other thing I always tell my guys when they come on board. You will never leave a home without giving some sort of recommendation to somebody. I said, if you leave the house and you don't tell them if it has to do, like we just had a customer yesterday, they don't have an attic access for their attic unit at all.
Oh.
So we gave her a referral, but I told them, I said, that's the exact reason you have to give it, because they don't know.
Right.
And that's the main thing, is we want to make sure they're taken care of, and that's the best way to do it. So having all the networking available, meeting all these different business owners, whether it's other companies that are in the same trade as me, because you can still bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and Heather.
I knew it. Man. I was like, put it out there. I
thought we made it through without having to say that.
Say it.
So,
Heather.
Yeah, I quit. No, just kidding. It is great. It's great to have that community to lean on. And, we just had the nursing post in our office yesterday talking about advanced directives, and it was so that we could personally get some of those things done. And we realized that we have some issues in our system because of talking to them. Like, if we have a caregiver that doesn't have a lot of experience with death and someone dies in the home, we need to train them how to do that. And we've realized we haven't been doing that. So having that connection and actually using them as like a service for that, we actually learned a lot about our own business and helped. And I think that's one of the greatest benefits. I promise it ties in. That's one of the greatest benefits is, you don't know what you don't know. Like when you talk to other businesses and you learn how they do things, like like you said, referring other people, we're the same way. When people call us for care, if we can't help them, we're going to find them somebody that can, right? And we work hard to keep good partnerships with our community partners that do the same thing we do and some that do different things than we do, to try and make sure that we can find them solutions for whatever they need, because they may not need Visiting Angels right now, but if we can help get them something that they didn't even know they needed or was available, then they're going to talk about us and talk about how we did that. And it's a great way to build your business kind of grassroots way. So that's great. So good answer, except for the last part.
Last part was the best part, by the way. And just the one word, just Heather. There you go. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll be cutting to a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
Wow, what a great commercial.
That is a good commercial.
That's a great way to highlight your business.
It really is.
If you own like Freedom Heating and Air and Electrical, that'd be a great way to advertise in the middle of the show.
I'm actually tired of hearing. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I am too a
No,
little
I'm
bit.
just
That's why I always push like, hey, if you want your business here, this is a great way to do it.
Yes, if you are listening and you would like to be an advertiser and have your commercial played on Talk Local to Me, it is extremely affordable. It's only $100 a month, and you get your commercial played each episode as well. And you got to think about it. It's live, but then it's pushed out and it's on anywhere you can get your podcast. Millions and trillions of downloads. No, I'm just kidding. But you're able to get that out there, and you can either have the commercial host read by myself or Mike,
right, or by your favorite host, whoever that may be.
Brian. We already know who that is. He already said it. Anyway,
when he came in today, you were his favorite, but he's leaving with his mind changed.
So, or we can even set up a time for you to come in with Woody here at Media Squatch and have him pre-record a commercial with you,
especially with all the brand new microphones and new hardware in the office. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we get all these awesome new updates.
I can see everybody in the room. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit. I can't hide behind the microphone anymore.
See, Woody thought, oh, Mike's not on the show anymore. I'm probably saving it. Right. They put in new stuff. Then back you are.
Right. Yeah, I hung my poster the other day.
Oh, that's what we need. That's what we need. We need posters of all of us like hung up in the room.
Yeah.
Again. Anyway. So. We'd like to welcome our next guest. We are talking with John with Boone Tractor. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Heather?
I'm doing well. I feel like Boone Tractor is a name that a lot of people know here in our area, but then, I also think there's people that, maybe don't know. And so it's really good to have you on the show so that we can talk a lot about Boone Tractor. And, one of the things too, I'll mention with Boone and even with Freedom and a lot of the guests we have is that these are local businesses. We're not talking to large, national companies that are coming. These are local. They started local. They're owned local. They're employing local. And so, we really want to kind of push that out and let people know, like you're supporting the community when you're...
Because we've talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
Local businesses get hit up for more support my softball team, my soccer team, my football team, my band, my cheerleading squad, my Parcheesi club, like all sorts of things. All the time. We get letters all the time in the mail from theater groups and different things like that asking for support from our local business. And the support for all those things that happen locally for your kids and for family members and nieces and nephews, all that stuff comes from local businesses. Mm-hmm. So Amazon's not cutting you a check for your local football team. Right. So, just keep that in mind when you're shopping around. And, everybody has to use Amazon. There are things that you can only get
here
there.
on time, like my folders for my event tomorrow. I'm just going to put that out there. Excuse me, I'm a little
trying
angry.
to bring that up, but yeah. But if you can get it locally, you may pay a few more dollars, but you're really look at it as that extra cost that you're paying. If it's just a few dollars more, you're really investing into your community, into local employees and things like that.
Yeah. So with that, I did, I think right now, Boone Tractor, y'all are celebrating a pretty big milestone this year.
We are, Heather. It's this is our 40th year in business. Boone Tractor started in 1984, right here in Bedford.
Nice.
In the exact spot where it's at now, just in a much smaller building.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, for those maybe who are listening that don't know what Boone Tractor is, tractor, of course, you hear that, but like you'll do so much more than just tractor. So tell us a little bit about like an overview of, what Boone, does, what you sell, and kind of what people can look for when they come to one of your locations.
Sure. Well, we specialize not only in agricultural equipment, of course, tractor in the name, everybody thinks that. But we also do landscaping equipment. We do zero-turn mowers. We also do light construction equipment, which gets you into like the skid steer loaders and little mini excavators, which ties into both agricultural and landscaping. And then we've got a lot of implements and stuff that you can attach to your tractors, your skid steers. We can cover the whole range.
I was amazed when I went out a couple of weeks ago. I went out to the ribbon cut to do the ribbon cutting. It's the Salem location when y'all did your grand opening there, and just kind of walking around and looking at all the equipment. It was really cool to see. Like you think, okay, it's a tractor, but it's not. And then first of all, I'm short as it is, and I felt really small next to some of these like large pieces of equipment. But I when I was walking around, I was thinking like those are really cool, and a lot of things that I could really see. Like my husband, because he has his grandfather's old tractor, which there's something to be said for just the history behind that. But he always talks about, oh, I'd like a new this, or I need to get some attachment with some bucket, or I don't know. He's always talking about stuff he needs to attach to things. And then, I've been wanting to get him one of those, and it's not a golf cart, but y'all had a couple of them. It's kind of like just a
UTV.
Yes. Oh my gosh, those were so cool. The ones I was looking at there.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And I was thinking like that would be, because from our house up to his garage and stuff, it's a kind of good little walk. And so he's always talking about needing a golf cart or something like that. And I was like, there's a lot of neat stuff there.
There is.
Mm-hmm.
So, you definitely have to go and check it out. And there's more than just tractors.
Yeah,
so.
we've got everything. A couple of our dealerships sell steel products, so we can say anything from a battery powered hedge trimmer all the way up to 150 horsepower tractor.
Okay.
So it's it never gets dull.
Nice.
Now, speaking of I was talking about Salem. How many locations does Boone Tractor have? I know you said we started here in Bedford, but y'all have expanded.
We have. So in 1984, Joe Boone opened up the original shop here in Bedford. And then in 2000, he bought the Salem store. So that became Boone Tractor. Then in 2012, in 2007, we opened up a branch in Lewisburg, West Virginia. We got heavily into working with the West Virginia State Fair out of our Salem branch, and it just made sense to have a location in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Then in 2012, we expanded down into Danville, which is a large agriculture market down that way. And then in 2015, we branched out west to Withville.
Okay.
Yep. So we have 5 locations.
So that's amazing.
It is.
And again, it's something that you love to see local growth. And in 40 years, that's a great. And I got to meet Joe, I think for the very first time. I met him at the Salem location. So super nice guy.
Oh yeah.
He's not much on the talking. He doesn't we were like, hey, do you want to talk for the rim? He's like, no, not really. Don't really say anything.
It's like, no, I'm good. I'll stand back here. Y'all can cut the rim.
That's not his specialty.
You're right. But it's definitely amazing to see the growth. And I think a big piece of that is the involvement that Boone has in the community too. You guys do a lot of community involvement.
We do.
So tell us a little bit about some of the things. I mean, I personally can attest to what Boone has done. I mentioned CVABC and the sponsorship that you guys have done, but it goes beyond more than money. Let me just put that out there, because it's one thing to throw money. I mean, people can go, oh, I got money. I just, here, sponsor this. But then it's when it's the actions that go behind it. It's how can I help you? What can I do for you? Boone Tractor has been big on like Centerfest. How can we help you block the roads?
Right. And using the tractors to block the roads. Not only is it like
brilliant,
looks amazing, but also nobody's going to pick it up and move it.
That was that is one of the biggest issues I have with Centerfest is people would move the barricades and they
try to drive through.
And so the last 2 years can't move a tractor. No. We have those tractors right there. And
just for the record, they don't leave the keys in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
We checked. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I know that was a joke that came up last year.
Yeah. But, we had some great photo shots, having the tractor holding our banners and the American flag. And,
it's impressive looking.
So having that. And then, last year they came to me and they said, hey, who's carrying Santa in the Christmas parade? And I was like, we kind of move it around. He was like, we would love to carry him like on the tractor and have a sled. And so they were able to come in and do that for us. Awesome. And so it's the little things like that too, when you're just, and they, Chris would call me and be like, how can we help with this? Or what can we do with this? And, I think that says a lot about a company that they do more than just, here's some money, hope it works out. They actually make it a part of what they're doing too. And that's always really cool. Right. So, y'all done a lot of community involvement.
We have, and we, I think a lot of that stems from being a family business that originated here. It's not like we're, from out of state or anything. So, but we try to be actively involved in the community. We want to be out there. It's not only good for us, but it's good for the community.
Yeah.
Just to get out there and get seen. We like to, one of the big things we like to participate in is the local FFA organizations at the high school, which if you don't know what FFA is, that's Future Farmers of America. So not
and if
only
farmers don't grow food, we don't have it.
Exactly. So, there's going to be nothing to eat.
Yeah. And if they don't have the equipment to,
I'm hooked right now on the TV show Clarkson's Farm. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen that on Amazon? Okay, so it's my favorite. So I'm a big Top Gear fan, all that stuff. So like followed him, but watching him getting these, like I see myself in him when he's like, "Ooh, look at this big machine," and he's getting in it and trying to drive it. Things like that's me. So
they're fun toys.
In a previous life, I had a we installed a playground, and I was putting mulch down, and one of the somebody in the community lent me a tractor with a scoop on it. I've never had so much fun in my entire life. My wife literally had to come and get me from work, like, it's time to come home, and I'm like, but I'm having fun. So yeah, it was it's a lot of fun to do that. But so I know that you guys have, speaking of different equipment and stuff, you guys have a wide range of products and things that you offer. You just touched on that a little bit, but what are some of the things that kind of set you apart? And what kind of what brands do you carry? I know you carry New Holland.
We carry New Holland, which New Holland has a broad range of products, everything from tractors and hay equipment to light construction equipment. We also carry Massey Ferguson, which is a very established name in the tractor world.
Yeah.
And Massey Ferguson has their line of hay equipment. And then we get down into some of the smaller stuff. We carry the Ferris Zero Turns, which has been a great product line for us that we've had. They're the only zero turns on the market with suspension on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And zero turns are a lot of fun too.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
I wish I had more. I don't really wish I had more grass, but one of the conditions when we bought our house was like, if we have so much grass, I get a zero turn. We didn't meet the qualifier, but yeah, they're a lot of fun. So yeah, the zero turns.
And then any kind of attachments you want for a tractor, whether it be a tiller or bush hog or a mower or anything like that.
That's it, a bush hog. That's what he wanted.
Bush hog.
That's it. I knew it's something like a bucket bush hog, same thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But anything like that, we can all kind of attachments you can put on the front. They actually have mowers you can put on the front of your tractor now.
Really?
Yeah, ditch banks with them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's all kind of good stuff. We got all the toys.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
I would be scared for everybody if I got in.
Yeah, I would be scared for everybody else, but I would be having the time of my life
to get in there. I am not the person that likes to work outdoors. I miss that gene completely. I don't do dirt like stuff, but my husband definitely does. But you guys have done you talked about the West Virginia State Fair, and I know y'all did the Amherst County Fair. Are y'all working any with Bedford with them bringing back the county fair this year too? I know
I think we've talked with them a little bit.
Very cool. But I think, too, when you talk about like community involvement, I think that also builds into like customer relationships, and being around for 40 years, obviously you guys have great customer service and customer relationships that y'all have built. And I know when I was there last, watching the people that you guys had out on the floor talking, I was really impressed with how, everyone, like someone would come in the door and somebody immediately came in and greeted them. And it, it wasn't like they were just walking around and took 10 minutes before somebody come up and was like, hey, can I help you? It was almost like immediate. Like it was, really cool to see. Well, customer service.
And this started with Mr. Boone. We all know that our customers are the business's life. I mean, it's without our customers, we're not there. So, we try to treat each and every customer that walks through that door, whether they're buying a 150 horsepower tractor or they're buying a $5,000 zero turn, we try to treat them the same, and then give them the best service we can.
Well, I know I can say as much as probably all of you can speak to this because you all have your own different businesses, but we've talked a little bit about, reviews and customer reviews and things like that. And, one person comes in with that negative review, you hear that more than like 500 positive reviews, so, it's really important to have that touch with your
something about if somebody has a bad experience, they'll tell 9 more people about that than they will a good one. Mm-hmm. Something like that. I totally made it up on the spot, but I think it's 9 or it's a bigger number. I don't know, but it's staggering the difference. So.
Yeah. And that's a perfect example of that is just yesterday we got a 5-star Google review from a customer in Bedford who was just super pleased with the service they got in our service department and talked about how they would be coming back. So when we get those, I try to make sure all our employees see that.
Right.
Say, hey, look, good job.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about your location. What are y'all's hours?
We're open 8 to 5 from Monday through Friday. And then during the spring, summer, and fall seasons, we're open from 8 to noon on Saturday mornings.
Okay. All right. So see if you need something over the weekend, you can make sure you head over there too.
Absolutely.
Now, y'all have an upcoming event. Was it Hay Day?
We do.
Hay Day. What's going on with Hay Day?
Hay Day is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So we've been doing this I think will be our 3rd or 4th year we've done this down in Franklin County, off Sontag Road next to the Franklin County Rec Park. Okay. And what it is we take a ton of New Holland equipment down there. We'll probably have 5 or 6 tractors down there. We'll have 3 or 4 balers, rakes, mowers. skid steers, everything. And we use them. We get out there and we actually cut hay, rake hay, and bale hay. And we have customers on site so that they can not only see the equipment in action, but we'll even let them demo it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard to test drive a tractor on a parking lot.
It's very hard to test drive a tractor.
It's not the same.
It's not. It is not. So, and especially something like a hay mower or hay baler, you can't, unless you're in a hay field, you can't try it out.
Yeah, and the hay balers it boggles my mind to see them work because, like, you've got the ones that wrap it in plastic, like there's all sorts of different ones, and just who thought up how to make that work to where you didn't have to do it manually out in the field. Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah, somebody smarter than me.
Yeah, somebody smarter than me, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
So that's something, do y'all do anything like the community can come out to? Like, I know people are potentially purchasing things, but do y'all, okay.
No, we advertise, it's open to the general public. It's anybody wants to show up. We have food there. We generally have ice cream for the kids. And we have a lot of our equipment just sitting around for static displays so kids can come out and climb on the equipment.
Like touch a tractor instead of touch
exactly.
a truck. Yeah.
Exactly. Which we've done a lot of touch a truck events over the years too.
Right.
But it's, so you bring your kids out and they'll stay entertained just climbing up and down on tractors and blowing horns and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And where is Heyday?
It is it's in Franklin County.
Okay.
It's off Sontag Road. And so Sontag Road is right where the Franklin County Rec Park is.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. I know where that's at.
Yeah, right off 220.
Okay. Yep. That's not too far from here.
No, it's a couple miles off 220. It's a big wide open field. There's plenty of parking. And like I say, we'll run, that's June 6th, Thursday, June 6th is the date for that. And we generally run it from like 10 to about 3.
Okay.
So hopefully the weather will be good. Knock on wood.
You got to make hay while the sun shines.
You have to make hay.
I've been waiting to say that all day.
Yeah. Perfect.
So anyway, yeah.
Good timing.
Good
timing.
Yeah.
You crack me up. So, with this being the 40th year, do you guys have any like future plans, things you guys are looking forward to in the years to come? Any kind of vision for the future, I guess you would say?
Well, we certainly hope we're here another 40 years. I probably won't still be there, but
right.
But we hope the business is around for another 40 years. We just we're always looking for opportunities to expand and grow, of course. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that the locations we have are
solid.
Yeah. And that our customers are getting good service. There's nothing concrete in the works right now, but we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Are y'all currently hiring at all in any of your locations?
Oh, yes.
I know a lot of people are looking. I feel like that's one of the biggest things right now is I see, there's nowhere to work. And then I have people that are like, well, we're hiring. And it's kind of like I don't know what's happening. Like, come on, people.
Oh,
people
absolutely.
are hiring. So get out there and, you just got to want to work.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't necessarily have to know a whole lot about tractors. We can teach you.
Woody, we can do it.
See,
we can do it.
There you go, Woody.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So anybody that's interested, just stop by one of our 5 locations and pick up an application. We'll be glad to talk to you.
Okay.
Woody wants to know if you're doing a calendar because he wants to be one of the months.
A calendar?
Sitting on a tractor.
Well,
with a cowboy hat.
So we're going to do a business calendar for the CVABC for next year.
That would be great to do.
Business each.
Okay, so
he's not talking like a fireman calendar, is he?
Well, that's what Woody wanted, but we're kind of trying to talk about it.
I'm not sure if we're going there.
So a couple episodes ago, we did talk about doudoir instead of boudoir, and So, but we do want to do like a calendar and do something. But it would be really cool to have, maybe if we did like December was like Santa on a tractor, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that'd be really good, especially because he's in, Yeah.
So we can use a Massey Ferguson tractor because they're red.
Red, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and we'll dress Woody up like Rudolph.
Yeah.
Well, see, I love that Woody doesn't have a microphone. Yeah, I love that he's sitting in his office pretending to work. And anyway.
It was funny because last year, right before the Christmas parade, I saw this this thing online. And it was where someone had done like the sled, and then they had the reindeers attached to like the tractors so they could go up and down.
Yep.
And I sent them to Chris, and he's like, well, I don't have time to do that now because it was like literally like 2 weeks before. But I was like, that would look so cool with like the tractor thing going up and down and attaching deer to it. And anyway, so I'm giving you 5 months there, John.
5 months.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Make a note of that.
Making a note.
We went reindeer that fly.
Yeah, very cool. Well, definitely, make sure if you're out there and you're looking for something for your yard. You're like, and like you said, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a humongous tractor.
No.
It can be just a
you've
mower.
talked about light construction equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me, who doesn't know anything about construction, what that is. Like,
light construction is like your smaller construction pieces, like a skid steer loader, a little rubber track loader, a mini excavator. So we're not into the business of some of the big road building equipment like dozers and graders and that type of stuff.
Okay.
That's just
so just some of the on the smaller end.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do more like what landscapers and a lot of contractors, building contractors, home builders, stuff like that. We use skid steer loaders and mini excavators, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. So that's the lighter construction. Heavy construction is generally considered like your road building stuff, graders, dozers, huge excavators, stuff like that. That's a whole different world.
So, because normally I ask, like, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you guys? And y'all have so many different locations.
Mm-hmm.
But what is like the website? How can somebody go on to find, like, if they're looking for a Boone tractor near them, what's the best way for them to do that?
So the easiest way is just go to our website, and it's real easy, www.boonetractor.com.
Okay.
And that will, once you get on there, you'll have links to all 5 locations. So you can call whichever one's closest to you, and we can take care of you from any of them.
And that's Boone with an E. I'm going to make sure people don't know.
Boone.
Yes.
So very cool. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Excited for both of you guys. 2 years, 40 years. I mean, I'm not going to tell me how many years I've been doing things, but lots of years. So
we ask 2 questions of every guest that comes on.
Okay.
Number 1 is, how long have you been part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
So I think this is year number 3 for us.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And what do you think is the greatest benefit? Choose your answer carefully, please. What is the greatest benefit of being part of the CVABC?
I think there's a lot of good benefits. I think probably from our side, the greatest benefit is probably the exposure we get.
Yeah.
Just having our name out there in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Being able to do things like this, like the podcast, it's just the ability to get all that exposure for your name.
Yeah. And it's kind of like a one-stop shop. Like, there's so many different things that the CVABC does to promote businesses, not just to other businesses, but also to the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important differentiating factor.
Yeah. Heather,
words today.
I know Heather helped out a lot with our grand opening at our new Salem store.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was...
We're going to have to edit that out. Sorry, John.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's great to have, and I just wanted to say to both of you, thank you for being sponsors as well. We have a lot of sponsors in the CVABC, but you guys are both top level, and we really appreciate that. It really does make everything that we do, including this podcast, possible. So it's great that you guys believe in the CVABC enough to make that investment in not just your business, but in the CVABC and the community as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. And with that, friends, hopefully family, whoever's listening in today.
Yeah. And hey, let me tell you something. If you ever want to find out more information about the Central Virginia Business Coalition, you can find out more information at
cvabc.org.
I got you again. I hope you all have a great Wednesday, and we will see you next week.